and that has its own challenge. So the challenge is Saturn hits, it depresses the moon, but it makes you work to change new habits. I got to work, and I can't just sit in the past. I got to work to change these habits. That's 2020. That's next year. But this year is about making commitments to what's beautiful, what's music, what's artistic, the Saturn to Venus. And okay, so Pluto says you weren't loved or you didn't get, relationships didn't happen. What's Pluto say? So what? So what? Yeah, but it was this. Yeah, but that was my favorite. That was what I really wanted. So what? It didn't happen. Let it go. Get real. And you're angry a bit. Okay, deal with it. Saturn say now, but make a commitment to something that you do value so you can work at it. And the rest of your life, you're building up these values, not getting further away from them. Because as soon as he's going away from what he believes in or what he thinks he should do, his mind starts getting negative, his feelings start feeling insecure, he starts feeling paranoid, and it builds up all these things. You had a bit of alcohol or any drugs today, it's just going to magnify the depression. No, he's a very capable person. He just has to do it because something needs to be done, not because he's supportive. If he made an album that was championing a good cause and everybody bought it, everybody's going to buy it to support the cause or whatever. He could get famous from something like that, and it's doing a healing, helping work to others. But there's Saturn to the moon implies working on your lifestyle, on your habits, on your eating, and how you're living. You're not going to get sympathy, but you have to keep busy with Saturn on the moon. You're controlling your diet. If there's bad habits, you're smoking or whatever, you're working to get them off. But it's really getting the discipline around how one lives. That's important there. It's not comes easy. It's like, so someone could be there and he's having to maintain a commitment even and not run away. Mars Uranus. If no one's there, he's got to keep working. I get the sense it could be someone who's having to grow and learn how to deal with it and be busy through it. But when he tries, his insecurity tries to over control in relationships, but as soon as he tries to over control in a relationship, he loses the relationship. So you can't control the relationship. You have to be able to trust. Oh, this hits the Saturn on the Venus. But trusting if you meet someone who likes your music and likes it, then you're getting close. Okay, and just because the person you're working with is seeing someone and they're both involved in that, you just don't need to be around them. It's time to change to something else. And these decisions are being made now as we speak, and then coming back so they're in place for the fall. Okay, so this may be a move, an adjustment, and having to get used to living in a different place, the Saturn to the moon. Or being stuck somewhere and you have to wait until it lifts. But then 2021, there's no hassles. And by 2022, Saturn comes up to conjunct the Mars. So there's still, Pluto will square the moon, so there's still confrontations with family in the past. You can't live in the past. You can't live for anything before this moment's the past. Not really. You can't live for it. And here, Saturn on the Mars, this is a time of hard working. I'm putting effort in, I'm doing things, I'm accomplishing, I'm working, I'm making the effort to do things. This is hard working time. So this is not bad. This is far more effective. Like looking forward, Saturn's not an enemy, it's a friend, it's things you can do. You just have to be serious around it. But it's not like looking back, there were a lot of really disruptive, upsetting things. So he's had a lot of hits, so his confidence shaken. He's got to rebuild it. But why wouldn't he rebuild it around stuff that he likes? If you can go rebuild it around a first choice. It's freeing your Venus. Just because you can. Rather than, oh, I'll never do what I really want, so I better take this. That's a sellout, and that feeds the depression. So this is how I work with a chart. I'm looking at these things, I'm looking at the story, it has to connect around the natal chart. I'm working around it. He's got to be the performer or he's the big kid that never got the attention of his parents. He's the performer and never got the applause. He's looking for the lover who would give him all of that, and it's too demanding. So he got to go do it, and then whoever's meant to come in will come in, not just to be controlled or possessed, just to be part of his world. His lifestyle and how he could choose to set it could be way better than other people's if he just held on to a couple of first choices that he wanted. So the decisions around emotions, around visa, adding singing lessons, adding music, doing another album, taking a video, upping the ante and working on it, that will free him from the blocks of the past and these other things. There's no reason he has to hold the bond to places where he's unhappy. He's done that time and time again and looked for the woman as he escaped. So, okay, how are we doing for time? Yeah, we're right on time. Okay, so I'm going to have to end it here. But you got to, everybody has their own texture. This 8-year graph's great. I mean, you can do it for 20 years, but 8 years is enough to work with. You want to be getting into it so you're seeing it more specifically, can work with it, and you see it against the background of the, I'm sorry, there's one other thing I've got to do here. Where are we? Yeah, inside the 2 years. Okay, so we got the sense of the 8 years and where he is, where he's going to. So we have this graph that puts out the, won't be another 5 or 10 minutes, so we're going to go a little over today. So here we are. Today's just this last week or two, February 18th, Uranus exactly opposed his moon. So in January 20th, Saturn conjunct his Venus. This is a 2-year graph. And it gets more from Mars, it gets more specific things of what's going on within this year or two, inside of the other cycle. So we've got the overview, that's the main thing. So then you're working to go along with it. So he made decisions of what he wanted. He had to decide what he wanted January 20th. And really this whole last month or so. But this month, it's implying there's still something breaking away from home, from family. This is the last hit of the Uranus. I can't put it, I'm having to let go of this past. That's just past, the peak of it's just past, it's calming down a little, but it'll take another few weeks before it calms down. Then right now, like then Uranus is going into Taurus. Mars is already just gone into Taurus. It's changing the energy in the world, but he has Jupiter squaring his Jupiter. Uranus squaring his Jupiter, so it's going to not only change, it's not only opposed to his moon to shake up his moon, it's changing his understanding. The whole Jupiter, his values of his principles, and what he believed is changing, and it's long overdue. That's over this next month. So I get the sense that he could decide to move away from the security of home and be in a place that's perhaps not so well off, but getting by another country and doing his music or doing and recording or putting the band together and working on things. I think that would. He's got nothing that's like August, Mars opposes Sun. So there's a little bit of delay, a little bit of complication in August and September. Mars opposing his Sun going into his 12th house and begin his 12th house until the end of September. But that's just a little bit of frustration and tired energy. It's not a big deal. Then by November, Jupiter conjuncts his IC, opposes the midheaven, conjuncts the IC, and he's ready to move. He's ready, he's motivated to make the change. Then by 2020, when there's no big difficult aspect, Jupiter conjuncts his Venus, and he could really make financial benefits or really get appreciation and notice in a way he never has before, not in 12 years anyways. And then Saturn will square the moon in 2020 by March. And there's the restrictions coming around home and the past and family. So he's got to keep busy and keep working on new habits so he's not falling into the past and getting depressed. That's a symbol of the busyness and the work will keep him out of the depression of doing nothing. Then, so he's working hard through this is next year, next spring. And by May, Mars is conjunct the Sun and his Mars. He's pumped up and ready to make a lot of things happen by Mars 2020. Then by the summer, he's a little tired. There's something about family that comes up again. And that comes back again in December. But really, Saturn really just means you're working hard. You don't have to interpret it as depression. It means you have to make the effort at whatever age you are. You feel older, but you have to make that extra effort. But so the last of the big disruptions are the Uranus moon, which is just last week. Okay, and it's changed. We're coming out of that now. So, see, if someone's with you when you're talking to them, you have the ability to talk and make these suggestions, to see where they are, and you have the dialogue to react around. How far do you go with this? How far do you go with it? When we're doing it as a class here, as an example, I'm just showing the techniques and the mechanics leading up to where the dialogue fits. He's going to have to listen to it, think of it. Do I dare? What have I got to lose? You know, and if he has the guts to go for something he really values and starts working at it, he has a whole life ahead of him. If he decides he's not going to do it, he deserves what he gets. Don't forget, He's underestimated in every situation. I get jobs the way he wants to work. But here's a guy who went and got his PhD in architecture. That's not a small thing. He could design cities, build cities. He could, in terms of designing music or composing, really, it's not a big shift from learning the mathematics of the designing of architecture and applying the design and the architecture to playing music, playing the pyramid, playing music, playing whatever shapes. It's not a far jump. It's still using the same kind of imagination and the composing and the writing. He's touched something. He's got to produce a lot more works. One CDs or one album is not enough. Oh, you mean I have to do that? Yeah, it's going to take some work. That work is healthy, constructive, being busy. It won't allow you to fall back feeling sorry for yourself. And the sorry for yourself will go into a country and western song or something that'll come out as an expression that becomes beautiful in a creative way. And yeah, so this is my take on it. You know, and I'm not sure, like, why you hit the nerve of something and you have to work on how to make that nerve work more in his fit with his natal chart. Then he has to see how it fits against his plans. He's too strong with his plans, and he sets these plans up that are too rigid for him. But if his plans aren't based on a good choice, what comes out of it? You know, so there's still some musical things he may have to learn or may have to do. But if he can design, if he's got a master's in architect, he would have no trouble learning how to master a recording studio or a video studio, and know how to compose a movie or video for music. Would have no trouble doing it. It just needs a little mechanics. He might have to make the commitment to pay for it. That's the Saturn to Venus. Okay, I'll pay some money to do this, and I'll work to do it. So it may not come glamorously, but it just has to be steadily that he's working on it, and that would take care of his depression and keep him with a sense of it's progressing up to something. At this time, it's not going to work the way things happened before. Okay, now the last thing we need to do, I just got to talk about the chart we're going to do next week. Next week, I decided to do a chart that we have no time for. We're doing the chart for noon, and we're going to look at the chart and do the transits. So there's no Saturn aspects to the angles. There's no 8-year graph. The 8-year graph deals with the planets, but not in the angles. And even the moon can be anywhere 7 degrees either side of this. But we more or less have the chart. So I want to go through the example of working with the chart. When you aren't sure of the ascendant, when you're not sure of the time of birth, don't use it. There's lots of information here you can still work with. And there's many ways to think of a chart without just thinking of the house meanings and working with it. So yeah, there's a lot you don't have by having the ascendant, but there's still many things to find significance around it. So this is April 1st, 49, New Britain, Connecticut at noon. New Britain, Connecticut in the US. Okay, so I'm going to close this. So we're done. And yeah, so next week we have the no time chart. We'll do it for noon and no houses. Okay, thanks.